Most people think that fat loss and fitness in general is so complicated with so many things to worry about. But what if I told you that the reason that your body wasn't in the place that you wanted was only due to one of 5 factors being off? These are called the 5 pillars, and by getting these in line, I was able to lose 14 kilos in 4 months. In this video, I'm going to explain what they are, why they're important, and how you can align them so that you can get your body and your confidence back. Pillar number 1 is your nutrition. Nutrition will forever be the driver of fat loss. It will always be the reason why you're gaining weight. None of these other pillars will have an impact on your weight like your nutrition. And if it is not in order, if it's not addressed, then you're never going to achieve the results that you want. So how can you get your nutrition in line? Well, before you go into any sort of fat loss phase, you want to be eating at a maintenance. You want to know what your maintenance calories are. And the reason that this is so important to do at the start of the process is because you're not going to be in a calorie deficit forever. You don't want to be forever losing weight. And if you do not practice eating the amount of calories you need to maintain, you are going to be afraid to eat that many. You're going to be scared that you're going to put on weight. So we need the proof early on that that's not going to happen, so that when we reverse out of your dieting phase, that you're fine with eating that amount of calories. The second baseline to set with your nutrition before we even talk about losing weight is you need to be comfortable making more optimal nutritional decisions without tracking calories. That means while you're out or even while you're at home. An easy way to do this, or the best way that I've found that's helped clients to do so, is to split up your plate as follows. For females, you want to have 1/4 of the plate protein, 1/4 of the plate carbs, and 1/2 of the plate color. So fruit, veg, salad. If you're a guy, because we have bigger calorie allowances, we want to have 1/3 of the plate as protein, 1/3 of the plate as carbs, and 1/3 of the plate as color, fruit, veg, salad. This is going to work in any situation. If you go out to eat at a restaurant, you're going to look at the menu and see, all right, this has protein. It's the main focus of this meal. Tick. It's going to have some sort of healthy carbohydrate, such as rice or potato. You are then going to check or order it on the side that it has some sort of vegetable or salad or fruit. When you're cooking at home, just making sure all of those elements are on your plate is going to make life so much simpler. And the reason that we do this is because we're not going to track everything forever. Tracking calories is only meant to be for a certain period of time while we learn portion sizes. And if you want a complete guide on how to do this and it explained in more detail, check one of the links in the description for the social eating game plan. Once those 2 baselines are set, you can then go into your calorie deficit by 500 calories and begin your fat loss journey. The next pillar is going to be your training. Now, with your training, there are 3 things that we want to get in order. The first one is your frequency or your training split. I do not want you doing what you used to do or what you wish you could do. Do not jump into this process and say to yourself, I'm going to train 6 or 7 days a week, because it is never going to happen. It is not realistic. And in my opinion, that's overkill for every single person, unless you are a pro sports person or a bodybuilder or whatever that is. The sweet spot is 3 to 4 days of training. And by being realistic with what you can actually do, not what you wish you could do, you are able to create a program, create a training split that hits everything that you want to for your goal and make sure it's covered in the week. Not only that, it also allows you to feel accomplished, allows you to be consistent, and allows you to feel good about you going into train. If you're unrealistic with what you do, you're going to miss out on sessions and feel like a failure. That will derail your week, derail your consistency, and will just keep you where you are. The second thing is that you're following a training program. This ties in with choosing how many days you want to train, because your program will be dictated on that. With that, you are going to track progressive overload. You need to be writing down the weight and the reps that you do on each and every exercise. To make this process a lot simpler with my clients and with myself, I like to use rep ranges. So if we have an exercise, call it a barbell bench press, I would prescribe 8 to 10 reps. That means that you're going to find what your heaviest 8 reps are on that exercise. Each week, you are going to keep that same weight, but try and increase on reps. Week 1 might be 80 kilos for 8 reps. You're then going to try that on week 2 for 9 reps, week 3 for 10. And then on that 4th week, you increase in weight and go back to 8 reps. This just creates a nice system that you can follow, so that you know that you're improving and you know that you're getting stronger and that you're progressing in the gym. The last component of the training pillar is going to be your training intensity. Now, it means absolutely fuck all if you go to the gym all of the time. That doesn't mean that you should deserve to see results. You do have to put some effort in by following the training program, By recording your weights, you should know what to aim for. But you do need to put in some effort. And yes, it will feel a bit uncomfortable, but that is the entire point of training. In the famous words of Ron Weasley, you're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy about it. So make sure that you're training hard enough and logging the weight and the reps that you do per exercise. The third pillar is going to be your sleep. Probably the most important, that holds everything together. Sleep is not just a time where you black out for 8 hours and then are reborn the next day. Without good sleep, it has an impact on everything. A fun fact is that being sleep deprived, which is under 7 hours, you have the same cognitive ability, meaning brain function, of someone who is over the limit drinking, which is a bit nuts. And to think that most people are in that category. It's going to lead to a series of poor decisions. When you are underslept, the hunger hormone that signals when you are satisfied after eating goes down. The hunger hormone that signals when you are full, the hunger hormone that signals when you're hungry goes up and through the roof. So you're going to be hungrier with less satisfaction after eating, meaning you're going to continue to eat and overeat. You also have higher cravings for more sugary, calorie-dense things, which is not going to be great if your goal is to lose body fat. It's also going to have an impact on your effort across the board. For your training, you're not going to push as hard because you're exhausted. To be able to meal prep or to cook the food that you need to, you can't be fucked because you're exhausted. You're going to turn to easier, the path of least resistance. And this is going to have a negative impact on your goals. And if this is something that is a repetitive thing, just dialing up and improving on your sleep is going to be a massive change for you, and you'll notice the difference. The fourth pillar is going to be your stress. Keeping your stress under control and keeping it managed is going to be a great help and will have similar benefits as getting more sleep. If you are stressed and your stress isn't managed, you are not going to be bothered for anything. All you will want is comfort, which usually comes in the form of food. You're also not going to want to train or train as hard. You are not going to be in a great pace mentally, which is going to have an impact on everything else, your choices, your decisions, and the effort that you put in towards your goals. Even aside from everything, just having stress left unmanaged is not going to be a good thing for you mentally and is not going to leave you feeling very good, which we do not want to have happen. Final pillar is going to be your daily movement, your daily activity. This means your step count to make it easier. And with your steps, it doesn't have to be one big event to be able to get your steps in. The easiest way to make sure that you hit a step target is to make it incidental. You can take the stairs instead of the escalator. You can walk up the escalator. You can park further away from the entrance to the shops, pace while you're on the phone, pace while you're waiting for your coffee. There are a lot of ways that you can just incidentally get your steps up, and that accumulates over time. Going for a walk is going to be a massive thing and will have a benefit to everything else: digestion, stress management, even your sleep too. So adding in a 10 to 20 minute walk per day, if you have the time to, is also a great idea. The funny thing with your daily activity and why that is a pillar is because it has more of an impact towards how many calories you burn in a day than your training. And that might seem a bit nuts to you because you might be thinking that you need to train every day and train as hard as possible all of the time, which is just not correct. The amount of calories that you burn in a day is called your total daily energy expenditure. It's broken down into 4 components: your metabolism, your non-planned exercise, which is your steps, your thermic effect of food, which is the calories that your body uses to break down and digest the food you eat. And lastly, it's your planned exercise, gym sessions, going for a run, your sport. Your planned exercise is the smallest chunk of that and the smallest contributor to how many calories you burn in a day. And it makes sense because you are only in the gym for anywhere between 30 to 60 minutes. That is not going to burn that many calories, no matter what your Apple Watch says. The second biggest contributor to the calories you burn in a day is your non-planned exercise, which is your steps. And getting those up is going to be most important because you would have gone from being a very active person to now being in a job where you probably sit down all day, and 2,000 steps is a win, which is not what we want. We want at least 8,000 steps per day. You might be thinking, why not 10? 10,000 steps was actually a marketing incentive to sell pedometers at one of the Olympic Games in Japan. I'll put that up on the screen now so you can see, but that's a fun fact for you. But those are going to be the 5 pillars: your nutrition, your training, sleep, stress, and your daily movement. Now you can look at your life. Think about these areas. Think about what is lacking. Are you missing any piece of this puzzle, or even many pieces. Work on one at a time. If your nutrition's not in order, start by tracking your calories, start by portioning out your meals, even using my guide. Remember, it's called the Social Eating Game Plan, and you can get it in the description. By focusing and improving on that, being more aware of your food, that is a step in the right direction. Your training, make sure you're following a training program, that you're tracking your weights and reps, and that you're putting in effort. Your sleep, making sure you're getting 7 to 9 hours every single night. Bare minimum. Think about ways that you can de-stress, that you can manage the stress in your life. It could just be being more aware and understanding of what's in your control versus not. Could be reading, going for a walk, could be journaling, going for a sauna, like things that make you feel good and de-stress. And your daily movement. Think about how you can increase your step count. Buy an Apple Watch, buy a pedometer. Just make sure that you're tracking that and trying to move as much as you can. By setting these baselines first, it makes everything that comes later so much easier. But here's the issue. There's no point working on all of these pillars if you don't know why you've gained weight in the first place. You can improve all of these pillars as much as you like, but if you don't understand why weight has come on so quickly, you will never be able to truly understand what to change to make those improvements that you need. So watch this video next, and I'm going to explain why the weight gain didn't happen out of nowhere and what you can do about it.